Welcome to our channel, where you can discover the most in-depth analysis, exciting developments, and shocking plots of your favorite TV series. We are committed to bringing you a comprehensive experience, from detailed analysis of characters, plots, and family secrets, to dramatic and exclusive predictions that you will hardly find anywhere else. When the truth about Chelsea's kidnapping was revealed, the space around them suddenly became empty as if it had been sucked out of life. Bill and Dani stood still, eyes wide, their hearts seemingly stopping from the terrible shock they never thought they would face. The person behind Chelsea's kidnapping, the person they once considered an ally, a friend, even a family member, was none other than Hayley. The shock was not just fear but also the ultimate betrayal, a stab straight into the trust they had placed in her for a long time. The moment Chelsea was freed from the shackles and darkness of the warehouse, Bill and Dani reacted instinctively. They pushed Hayley into a corner, so close that they could feel her cold breath. Bill's face was red, anger erupted like an underground volcano that had been suppressed for too long, ready to burn everything in its path. Dani trembled, her body seemed frozen between anger and extreme pain, both angry at her family for betraying her, and pitying Chelsea, the innocent child who had suffered so much tragedy. Hayley did not deny it, not a single sign of remorse or fear. Her eyes flashed with a cold light, sharp as a knife, both vicious and confident, as if the whole world had to submit to her meticulous calculations. A sarcastic smile flashed across her lips, turning the already tense atmosphere into a sharp blade, touching the bottom of Bill and Dani's hearts. Chelsea cried out, her voice hoarse and broken, both from pain and anger at realizing that the person she had trusted most was the culprit. Bill and Dani stood frozen, realizing that they had not only lost their trust, but were also facing an enemy disguised as a relative, a person whose every gesture, every word before could be a carefully calculated lie. In that moment, the cold room was filled not only with fear but also with the emptiness of broken trust, where all plans, all strategies, all protections became meaningless. Bill felt a hot breath in his chest, his anger almost turning into uncontrollable rage. Dani, while trying to stay calm, realized that this pain did not stop at the betrayal, but also at the fact that they had been deceived in their own family, where every loving act, every advice, every warm hug before could be stained with lies. Chelsea, with a tired body and a broken spirit, still trembled in the arms of her relatives. The image of her small but resilient girl in the face of this tragedy made the atmosphere even heavier and darker. Hayley stood there, proud, confident, like a warrior who had achieved victory without firing a shot, only by calculation, ruthlessness, and the ability to manipulate the emotions of those around her. The resentment, fear, and sense of betrayal were so compressed that the surrounding air felt heavy, every breath carried terrible pressure. Chelsea, though just freed, still had not really escaped the feeling of helplessness, when she realized that behind the bright light of freedom was the dark shadow of dangerous calculations. Bill stared at Hayley, realizing that the previous battles, the seemingly random conflicts, were actually all in her hands, meticulously calculated to achieve the ultimate goal. Dani, though trembling but trying to calm down, realized that what they had to do now was not only to protect Chelsea but also to find a way to deal with someone whose cunning and cruelty far exceeded any standards they had ever known. In that moment, every light seemed to fall into darkness, every sound became echoing and creepy. Every move Hayley made could have a terrible impact, every breath she took seemed to decide the fate of those standing around. Chelsea, though weary, begins to recognize the strength within herself, not just pain or fear, but also the determination to survive and fight to protect herself and her loved ones. Bill and Dani, though stunned and deeply hurt, begin to find ways to gather the strength, both mentally and strategically, to face Hayley, realizing that they are facing a battle that is not only about protecting Chelsea, but also about protecting their own beliefs, honor, and family safety. The cold warehouse space seemed to be filled with the sound of betrayal, where every step, every look carried extreme tension. Hayley, with her calm appearance but her scheming mind, stood there like a living statue, a testament to the danger that a sophisticated person can cause. And at the same time a harsh reminder that sometimes, the closest people can also be the most terrifying enemies. Chelsea, Bill and Dani, despite being on the brink of despair, still had to quickly find a way to fight back, seek help and build a plan to turn the situation around, so as not to become pawns on Hayley's sophisticated chessboard. In her cold eyes, they saw a treasure trove of intrigue and cruelty they had never imagined, and realized that survival and protecting each other was now not just a mission, but a life and death battle, where every mistake could be paid for in blood and tears.
This moment, full of tragedy and tension, marked a turning point in the lives of Chelsea, Bill and Dani.
It was not just a release from physical shackles, but also the opening of a psychological battle, a series of plots, strategies and confrontations they had never experienced before. Every next step had to be carefully calculated, every decision had to be carefully considered, because Hayley was not just an ordinary kidnapper but the embodiment of sophistication, cruelty and terrifying wisdom. In the chaos, Chelsea begins to realize her own strength, Bill learns that anger must be controlled to become a fighting tool, and Dani realizes that pain and anger can be turned into strength to protect loved ones. If you love in-depth character analysis, exciting developments and shocking plot twists,
follow our channel.
Subscribe now to never miss any analysis, prediction or revelation from the dramatic world of Beyond the Gates. Join us to explore, experience and live every breath of intrigue and betrayal in the Dupree family, where trust, love and strategy are always intertwined, creating unforgettable moments.